everybody, it's Connie. I am messing with my camera again because, man, this thing that Facebook has done where you have to wait till you go live before you can zoom in is so annoying. I usually have everything all set up, you know. Anyway, good afternoon. It's been a week already. Woohoo! I have little bits and pieces all over my table today. So I have had a crazy week, but today is Wednesday and I am relieved to be able to craft for a few minutes instead of dealing with other things. Thank you guys for all the nice comments and notes about my uncle. Hi, Christy. Hi, Stephanie. Oh, you're going to want to stick around after I do these layouts today. I'm going to show what I bought from Daisy Lane. And I know you're curious because I was going to go live and show it. And then crazy things happened around the house. Oh my gosh, my washing machine broke. I've been doing my laundry like next door. And it's fine, and I have a backup plan. It's all good. But it is really weird to walk back and forth with, you know, like baskets of laundry. And then, of course, my uncle passed. He is the uncle who, my mom's brother, who had a stroke a couple years ago that I was seeing in the hospital. And so a lot of you may remember that. Anyway, I'm going to move this camera a little bit again. Okay, so let's get right to it because I think this is going to take some time. Several people have asked me if I would please do a step-by-step putting the scrapbook kits together. And you know what? I didn't buy them all, but I'll be happy to do that. So today we're going to put together these layouts because they're my favorites of the new ones. And they're fast because they are simple cuts. And then the Friday, I'm excited. I popped into the mail layouts to everyone who has purchased from me this month. And I'm in love. I love them so much. I hope you guys like them as much as I do. You know, I don't always like adore the layouts that I send. I like them and I use them, but this one I'm like, yeah, I really love it. And I kind of used one of the old Close to My Heart album retreat layouts as a guide, kind of a jumping off point for that one. All right, anyway, so let's get to this. This is one of the new scrapbooking workshops from Stampin' Up. It is Autumn to Remember. It makes three two-page layouts, and you can see the cuts are very simple cuts. So these are not available unless you buy the scrapbook workshop. You don't need the scrapbook workshop to make these layouts, though you could just buy the paper and the stickers. So I'm going to, take my time showing the different pages in case you want to do like a screenshot or something. I don't feel very comfortable just posting the layout. Now the Halloween one is so do your screenshot. There was like an error on the Halloween one, and so that one I can post. That one is online and I can post it. And everybody, all my group is just a little cautious right now about posting things that'll get them in trouble with Stampin' Up. We're just too new to Stampin' Up to know whether or not we would get in trouble. All right, so there's the cutting guides. All right, and then we start with the pages. So you can see these are really basic cuts. These are not going to take us very long. I just want to put in order the all the papers. So these first scrapbooking workshops that have been put together by Stampin' Up are really, in my own opinion, a little basic. And I think they did that on purpose because, you know, they're introducing a lot of demonstrators to the idea of going back to scrapbooking if they did it before. That's what the photo placeholders look like. I'm just going to set those aside for a minute. This is just the cardboard that came in it, the sticker sheet, and I'm going to set that aside just for a bit too. Okay, the patterns. So the first pattern that we're going to need is the trees and animals. Let me just spread these out. I'm trying to make use of my table next to me so that I have more room to spread out. Okay, so here is the array of papers, and notice they are a little different than what you will get if you order. This is the scrapbooking workshop. If you just get the paper and stickers, you're not going to get these wood grain pieces, and you're not going to get these two pieces. These are exclusive to the scrapbook workshop, but you know, you probably have something in your stash that's kind of close, honestly. Okay, so paper number one, we're going to cut. I'm going to put it upside down on my trimmer so that I am ready to roll, is the little animal print. And the way these work, this is really slick. So it shows you, this is the paper that you should have face up. This is on the back. It shows you which direction to put the paper into your trimmer so that you get the animals or the direction correct. And then if it has a little asterisk next to it like that, then you will be flipping it over and using the back. So what I like to do is I just like to put it in, you know, piles of 1, 2, 3 as I cut. So the first print is going to be the trees. The second print is going to be the trees. So I'm putting that face down. Third print is this grid, and the back of it is these little trees. The fourth print we're gonna cut is the little trees, and notice there will be a direction on it when you put it in your trimmer, so you have to pay attention to that. Then we have the red, two-sided kind of brownish red, scarlet, I'm not sure what that is, and green, and it'll go red side, and we'll cut the next one on the red side. Okay, and the exclusive papers, we're gonna do the 2 wood prints, and then we're gonna do the brown print, and we're gonna do the stripe. There are no, the only cardstock cutting that we're doing for this is 2 sheets of the white willow. Now the white willow is the old white daisy that Stampin' Up brought over, which is really exciting because that's some awesome cardstock. And the other thing is, you know, the Stampin' Up people were kind of freaking out thinking it was going to replace their white. No, it's not going to replace the white. It is just going to be an additional option. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out a bit. I'm going to try. This zoomy thing with Facebook is weird. Okay, so I'm going to put my pattern over here and you can see that. And moving my camera. I'm getting better and better at this. All right, so here's what I use this giant chopper style. If you guys are ever like, oh my God, I can't even do that, and you want me to use the Stampin' Up trimmer instead, I can do that. I'm just slower. And so I'm gonna put here's my stack of papers in the order of the instructions. I'm gonna set those over here to the side, and I'm gonna make a 1, 2, 3 pile as I go. So the first picture shows, I'm just gonna do this kind of slow on the first one, then we'll keep moving. The trees are going horizontal. Make sure your trees match the trees on this little picture so that you can get the direction correct. Okay, and then basically we need an 8-inch cut, and then we're gonna turn and we're gonna cut at 7 inches. So we get a 7 by 8 and a 5 by 8. And both of these go in pile number 2. Then this part that fell off of our trimmer, we only need it, we're gonna put it back in, trees going that way. We're gonna cut it at 3.5. This is a scrap, so start a scrap pile. You can use it for something else. We're gonna rotate it, and we're gonna cut it at the 10. This little piece that falls off is also a scrap. And this piece gets flipped and is on project number 1. So, paper 1, all cut, all done. Now we're gonna go to paper 2. Paper 2 is the tree print. And this time, the trees are vertical like normal. So make sure that you put them in to match your picture. And the first thing we're gonna cut is I'm just gonna do this by, I know it's a 12-inch piece of paper, so I'm gonna slide it down to 8 inches, and we're gonna cut 4 inches. And we're at 8, and I need a 4-inch piece, so I'm gonna slide it to 4 inches, cut. And then this piece, I'm going to slide it to 3.5. And now we have the stack next to our trimmer. Okay, this long skinny strip is a scrap. The top piece, which is 3.5 inches, we're gonna rotate and we're gonna cut it at 10. And this little piece that falls off is a scrap. And this piece gets flipped over and it gets used in project 1. These 2 4-inch pieces are cut the same size. And so I'm gonna rotate them sideways and I'm gonna cut them at 11.5. I'm cutting them stacked together. You don't have to do that. These are scraps. But the 2 pieces that are left are for project number 3. So I have a pile 1, a pile 2, and a pile 3 up above my cutting board. And we're on to the next paper. Look at that, a simple 6-inch split. So we're gonna put this on the trimmer, and it doesn't really matter which orientation because this grid doesn't have an orientation and neither piece has an asterisk, so it's not gonna be flipped over. If it was gonna be flipped over, I would make sure my trees were up and down. But honestly, it doesn't really matter. We're gonna go to 6 inches, make the cut. And then these 2 pieces go in project number 2. And we're on to the next cut over here on our directions. So on this one, we have a direction of the trees, and the trees are going to go sideways with the points to the left. So little triangles with the trees sideways to the left. And the first cut we're going to make, we're starting at that 12-inch mark. We're gonna go down, we want it 4.5 inches. So we're gonna go to see where the 7 is? We're gonna go to 7.5. That makes this piece that fell off 4.5 inches. And then we're going to slide sideways and we're gonna cut this at 5. This big piece that fell off, it is 2.5-ish, 2.5, is scrap. The piece that's in your trimmer is 5 inches. We're gonna rotate it and we're gonna cut it horizontally at 7 1/4. The piece that falls off is a scrap. This piece, which is now 5 by 7 1/4, it goes in the pile 1. Okay, now we have this giant 4.5-inch strip. We're gonna rotate it and we're gonna cut this at 10. And this piece gets put in pile 1. We have this little scrap here and we are going to cut it, put it in your trimmer so the trees are pointed left. And the first cut we're gonna make, it is at 4.5 inches. We're gonna go down to 2.5 inches and make a cut. So the piece that falls off is 2 by 2, and it is gonna get flipped over and it is going to be used in project 3. Put it in your 3 pile. And then we're going to cut this piece. It is 2.5. We're gonna cut it, we're gonna go down to 2 inches and cut that little sliver off, which is a scrap, this little sliver. And then we're gonna, believe it or not, rotate it and cut it at 1.5. So we have a scrap, and then we have this piece, which is 2 by 1.5, and it goes in project 3. And we're on to our next print, which is I keep calling this the red print because on here it looks red. It's actually like paprika, if you're familiar with close to my heart colors. It's probably Cajun Craze and Stampin' Up colors. If you look at the direction, I don't know how well my camera is focusing, but that directional print is vertical. So we want to turn the pattern so the little footprints are vertical. These look like chicken prints, you know what I mean? And we need 3 4-inch strips, and all of them are going to be cut at 10.5 inches. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do a little differently. I'm gonna rotate my piece so it's horizontal print, and I'm gonna cut it at 10.5. That way, this scrap that falls off is a giant scrap instead of 3 4-inch pieces. So this is a scrap. Now let's turn this back vertical and let's cut it at 4, 4, and 4, which is 8. I'm moving it to 8 and then to 4. And these 3 pieces all get divvied up. One piece, chicken print, goes into project 2. These 2 pieces get flipped to the green side and get used in project 1. All right, we're on to the next print. We're making great progress. Okay, this is another chicken print and the orientation is vertical, and we're gonna cut this. We're gonna go down to 8 and cut this 4-inch piece off. We're gonna use that. And then we need to cut 2 3.5 inches. So I'm gonna cut, We're at 8. So 1, 2, 3.5 puts us at 4.5. If you're sliding your paper like I am, 3.5. And then this one, I'm just gonna put to 3.5 and trim it. Okay, so now we have these strips that have fallen off of our blade. And this big 1-inch strip is scrap. It's nice to have all the scraps because you just, you might use them for cards. You could make another layout. All right, so look at your strips. You should have a 4-inch and 2 3.5 inches. Let's get the 4-inch one out of the way first. So we have our 4-inch piece. We're gonna rotate it. We're gonna cut it at 10.5. And the piece that falls off is a scrap. And this piece goes in project 2. These two 3.5-inch pieces both get cut at 10 inches. So I want to stack them together and cut them both at the same time at 10 inches. And these two pieces go into project 1. These are 3.5 by 10. And you have these pieces that have fallen off. Now we're going to trim these up. They are 2 inches wide, and we want them 1.5 by 2. So we're going to cut some 1.5 pieces. So you can just put them in. I'm going to stack them together just for ease. But there's 1.5, and there's 2 of them that go into project 3. And then I'm going to cut these at 1.5. And these 2 get flipped over to the green and go into project 3. And then the little pieces that fell off are scraps. You would think I would throw those away, but no, you just never know what you're gonna use. We are on our last little bit. Now, these wood grain pieces both get cut the exact same size. So I'm going to stack them. It shows the wood grain direction going horizontal. So it's going, this way, wood grain, not vertical, horizontal. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this at 11.5. I have both of them stacked together. Whenever I do this is scrap. I always make sure it's all the way butted up to the top, and I'm putting good pressure on this little plastic piece. Okay, so I cut it off that way, and then we're gonna rotate it. Now it's vertical, and I'm gonna cut 11.5. And this is also scrap. Now I have my 2 wood grain pieces that are 11.5 by 11.5, and those are for project 1. Only two pieces of pattern left, and then we go to just the white daisy. Okay, so this piece is what we're working on next. It doesn't look directional, but it kind of is, because you can see the triangles are not even. So if you put it this way, I'm going to call that horizontal. And I'm going to call the long way vertical. And so we need to put it into our trimmer vertical. And so we're going to make some cuts. The first cut, we are going to cut at 1.5 inches off. So we're gonna put it at 10.5 chop. We're gonna do another 1.5. So we're gonna put it at 9 chop. And then what we have in our trimmer is 9 inches. We're gonna take that, we're gonna rotate it horizontally, okay? And we are going to trim that at 7 1/2. 7 1/2. What you end up with that is 7.5 and 4.5. 7.5 and 4.5. Now, if you screw this up, which I have done. Ask me how I know. But you can always use Scotch tape or tape on the back and re-adhere it together to make a full sheet, and then cut it the right way. And if you do that, it seems like it would show on your page, but the truth is it's such a perfect seam. You don't see the seam when you make your page. So if you screw up a cut, just have some tape or something handy. Washi works good for that. This goes in project 3. The parts that fell off are both 1.5 inch strips, right? And we need these to be only 11.5 inches long. So I'm stacking them up. I'm putting them horizontally, and I'm gonna put this at 11.5 and chop. And then we have these 2 little scrappy pieces, and we have these 2 pieces that go into project 3. Now we're gonna do the stripe. We're making great progress. These pages go together really fast. This is a very simple 6-inch split, but it's 11.5 inches. So here's what I want you to do. Put it in your trimmer so the stripes are horizontal, and we're gonna cut it at 11.5. That way we have this big 1/2 inch strip untouched that we can do whatever we want with. It is a scrap. Now let's put this back vertical again, vertical stripes, and we're gonna cut it at 6 inches. And that's all the cuts on our pattern paper. These 2 pieces go in project number 3. My pile's getting big up here. All we have left are the 2 white daisies. A lot of times this cuts photo mats or placeholders or things like that. So sometimes before I cut the white, I put the rest of the layout together to see if I really need it, because sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's just extra. So I am going to cut it, and I'm going to show you how I cut it. All right. So the first thing we need is a 3 1/8. 3 1/8, that makes me think that we are going to be using this as a photo mat of some kind. 3 1/8, are you guys good at eighths? You know, an inch is split into 8 parts, so count your lines. They are the little hash mark. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We just want 3 1/8. So I'm putting it just past 9. I'm gonna put that at 8 7/8 mark. I know that sounds crazy, but this is how I do it. If you want to cut it at 3 1/8, do that. 3 1/8. We need that. And then this piece, we are going to, I want to give myself the most that I can in scrap. Let's put this at 7 1/4 and make a cut. This piece that fell off is a scrap. And then we're going to rotate it, and we're going to go to 9 1/4, cut it, and this piece is a scrap. So the 9 1/4 by 7 1/4 is in project 3. This piece we need to put back on our trimmer and turn it sideways, and we're going to cut them 3 1/8. We're going to cut 3 pieces, 3 1/8. There's one. You can see why I do the slidey thing instead, right? There's 2. And there's 3. This is a scrap. I could have cut it differently, but I didn't want to confuse you. These go in project 3, all of those. And our very last one, we are going to cut at 4 1/4. So I'm moving this to 7 1 2 3/4. Do you see that? And that will give me a 4 1/4 fall. And then this one, we want it is 7 3/4. So we're gonna rotate it and go to 9 1/4 and make a cut. The piece that falls off is a scrap, and this piece goes in project 3. The piece that fell off, we're gonna put in our trimmer horizontally, and we're gonna cut it at 6 1/4. And this piece goes in project 3. And then the piece that fell off here, we need 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. So just cut another square out of 3 1/8. Everything else is a scrap. And this goes in project 3. We're all done trimming. Yay. Okay. The next thing I like to do is split up all of the parts for each page. And so this uses, Old Olive is the color of the green, and this uses the light side of Old Olive. I'm not sure I love the light side. I might use the dark. It's your page. You do what you do. I'm gonna put that in project number 1. See, I'm gonna look at it both ways. See, I like the darker, you guys. I don't know. So there's 1. Project number 2 uses the pink petal cardstock on the light side. So the dark side you can see is more of a peach. That's the original color. And then they have the light side. And that's project number 2. Like I said, you do you. Flip it however you like it. And then project number 3 uses crushed curry, which is this golden yellow color, and it uses the true color instead of the light color. And the true color has more autumn tones in it, so you know we'll try both when we get to that page just to see how it looks. But that's the plan. All right. The other thing that I like to do before I get started is the die cuts. So the die cuts that come with the scrapbooking program have, they pop out really easy, obviously, but they have numbers on the back. And so I like to get all of these popped out and sorted. So this is project 1. And an easy way to do this, I know this sounds crazy, but sometimes if you just do this, a lot of the pieces will be almost falling out, and it makes it super easy to get them out without being all careful. Project 2, 2, 3, project 1. This one's got like these little fussy things on there to punch out. Yuck. Project 3. Two. This one is 2. So I'm just sort of, I don't know, really quick trying to pop these out and put them where they belong without tearing anything. These are all project 2. Now, because a lot of the layouts in these workshops are a little more basic, although these are gorgeous. I don't think I'll probably change the autumn ones, but especially like the Halloween one, I would definitely want to mess with a little bit. And, you know, sometimes I don't glue everything down right away, and I kind of look at what my photos would be and, you know, how I will use it. Some of these pieces that are falling out, I'm trying to throw them away. So in project 1, there's this big circle, and the It'd be really easy to tear it. I have torn these once in a while because I'm obviously not gentle with everything, but they're pretty easy to glue back down so that they look fine if you do that. All right, so I'm just popping out these. This has a number 1 on it, so I'm putting that in number 1. And then I just have these last few on here. Project 3, Project 3, Project 3. This is Project 1. Ugh. These last stubborn ones here. Okay, Project 3 and Project 1. And the rest of this is just a shell. It goes in the trash. And then we have this one. Now, this is the kind of thing that drives me crazy. So I'm just going to push down with my finger and pull up. It goes a little faster that way. So I have questions for you all. Have you been to a funeral lately? Because though I've gone to several since the pandemic, went to several during the pandemic, and I really looked around at what people were wearing, and the older people in the room were all dressed up, you know, suits, ties, dressier clothes. And I noticed a lot of the younger people were like, you know, jeans, nice jeans, not like holy jeans and stuff, but seriously, like it felt very underdressed, and it made me realize that I feel really old criticizing people's clothes. I never used to pay any attention, and I didn't care what everybody wore. Just, you're there, I'm happy you're there, happy to see you, and, you know, quit being all critical. But I don't know. All right, all of these chevrons go in Project 1. This whole piece is done. These are, that's Project 2. I think these are all Project 2. I think they go on here, which is going to be, that's what's going to be sort of the hiccup in putting this together fast, is that these pieces. Oh, my washing machine is singing to me. Do you guys have a Samsung? My washing machine in my house is so old. You know, it's like a Kenmore. And when we bought this house next door, it has a Samsung, and they play this little tune when they finish. Do 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 do. So yeah, it's really interesting to have your appliances like sing to you when they're done. And I looked it up, and there's a meaning, there's something about that song. I don't know. I just think it's interesting. And I would not I love our appliances over here, but the recommendations are that they're not so hot to maintenance wise. So I'm not sure I would recommend a Samsung, but that's what we have. We haven't had any issues so far, but we don't use them all the time. And it is kind of fun to have extra, like a laundromat over here, because it's certainly handy. And I can't say I even know any laundromats in town anymore. Like if I had to take my clothes to be washed, I'd probably take them over to my dad's, because I honestly I'm not really sure where in town I would take them. Hi, Annette. Are you taking advantage of free shipping today? Oh my gosh, I suspect this will be the last free shipping day. Whew, project 2, yeah, I was right. That's gonna be icky. So, the nice thing that's been happening with those free shipping days, I think they've been having more than normal since I've been a demonstrator. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's to help some of the, you know, close to my heart people kind of get in the groove. And so we've had, what, like 3 since I've been a demonstrator, which is not very long, actually. So, but I suspect this will be the last one of the year. And I'll tell you what, that shipping, it adds up. So, you know, when you're spending on the, you know, like 11% of your order on shipping, free shipping is a big discount. It's like, woo, it's not, everything's on sale. You have to spend $75 to get it, which isn't very hard to do if you want stamps or something. I mean, it doesn't take very long to rack that up. And what I noticed today, which is really great, is that a lot of the things that have been out of stock have come back in. Those peppermint candies, everybody's been waiting for those. They're in. Heather earlier was like, they were in and then they're out and now they're showing low inventory. I just suspect that they'll be sold out probably by this afternoon. Like, if you want them, please buy them. Please buy them soon. Because I think they'll be gone. People were waiting for those. Okay, we're ready to assemble. Now we have stickers to use and we have our little paperboard pack. And you know, I love these paperboard pieces, and these are from, like, the Close to My Heart team has like a laser cutter that makes these, and it's not exactly chipboard, but it's not paper either. It's thick. And Stampin' Up purchased this machine, so that's cool. All right, let's put our pages out. Let's see, pages. Oh, I think I put my stuff in the wrong pile. Duh. All right, let's get out our project 1. And I put all my project 2 things in here. So hold on a minute. I'm dumping. All right, let's do the bases. Let's get those done first. So it says to use the light side of the old olive. If we use the light side, it's a little bright for me. I want to use the original side, and that's just, you know, how I am. But and then we're going to go ahead and put on our wood grain. So this is how it'll look. It'll have the wood grain as the bottom, and then each side is going to have like 3 stripes. Okay. You'll have an animal stripe, a green stripe, and that like paprika stripe. And then these will be for our photos. So these will go on last. Let's set those aside for a moment. And we are going to have to deal with these at the same time because these will get a flag bottom. So let's set those up here for a sec and let's get this put together. One of the things that will go on each page is there is a yellow sticker down at the bottom. So I want to make sure that we have our pieces, enough room for our pieces at the bottom. So I think I'll put those on first. All right, so we want to keep everything approximately a quarter from the edge. And you know what? Only a 1/2 inch of this sticker is going to show. So, okay, this is a weird little tip. This is like a 3/4 inch sticker. So I want to save the rest of my sticker. And so I'm going to put this in here. And so I'll cut it. I only need a 1/2 inch. And so I'm just gonna trim it. See that? And same way with the other one, I'm just gonna cut it at the 1/2 inch mark of my trimmer. You have to kind of be able to see kind of where you're at on your cut. Might be a little crooked, not terrible. All right, so then I'll preserve a couple of these strips to use with other things. And I'm always kind of watching for like where something's gonna get covered up anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. All right. My dog is sitting right underneath where I'm standing. And so I feel like I'm dancing around him a little bit. All right, we have our pages. Let's zoom in just a little bit. Let's see if, I'm trying to see if it'll let me. There we go. Okay. We're going to put this about 1/4 inch from the edge and from the bottom. And then you can see we're going to have a little extra. So we're going to cut it approximately 1/4 inch from the edge. It doesn't have to be perfect, you know. And then we're going to put on our wood grain. When I put on a big sheet of paper, I don't just outline it, because when you outline it, then the middle becomes flimsy. And if you put a lot of stuff on the middle, I'm afraid it'll pull away. I know that's probably very paranoid of me, but okay, we're going to turn this. And wow, I could have made that bottom a lot closer. I'm just going to eyeball it so a smidge of the yellow shows and not a lot, okay? And we're going to do the same thing to this page. I have my other sticker. And we're going to put it down. And I want about the same amount showing. So I just need to do it the same way. And then we're going to put the wood grain on. Now you can kind of see why you need like a lot of adhesive when you're scrapbooking, right? Because you can't just be all skimpy. You know, one of the things that they used to do with Close to My Heart, Monica used to just put on like a little tape, you know, just a little bit. And I've had issues with my pages falling apart over time. Like, I've been scrapbooking for so long that I'm very careful now I'm very careful about how much adhesive I use. All right, decide which end you want up, which way you want things turned. I'm flipping it around, even though there's not a direction on this. Some of the animals upside down are weird, right? And so I think that bear may show. These two pieces are the same size, so I'm just gonna go up the middle about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch, half an inch, and I'm gonna dovetail. And that way, those two pieces are done. And I think I'm gonna do the right hand pieces the same way. Like, I don't like all of these animals upside down. Like, this feels more accurate or something, even though there are some animals upside down. Fewer, maybe. And I'm gonna go up the middle again, and then I'm gonna go from corner to center. I can't wait to show you guys the layout that I made for people who order this month. I'm gonna do it Friday, I think, unless something happens with my family, and then I'll do it Wednesday. All right, these two pieces are wider, but they're the same size, so I'm gonna stack them together. I'm gonna do the same thing there. I think they did maybe a 1/2 inch flag. I don't think they did it as big as me, but does it matter? I don't think so. All right. And now we're ready to put those on the pages. So we're gonna center the green ones and put the others on each side. Now, what I like to do, I like to get out my ruler. And you know, I have that really awesome zeroing ruler from Close to My Heart, but the lines on it are hard to see when you're watching a video. So I'm gonna get out my Club Scrap one. It has a 0 center. I just like to use a ruler that you can see. And so what I'm doing is I'm putting it on here so that there is exactly from 0, it goes to the 6-inch mark and to the 6-inch mark. And you can do that with any ruler. I mean, obviously you can find the center. And then I like to put this on. You can see it's like 2 inches on one side and 2 inches on the other. And that is how I'm placing my center strip. I'm gonna do the same thing for this one. So I have that 0 center. I went to my cross stitch festival last weekend, which, you know, I love cross stitch. And I looked all over at all their different quilting rulers. There was tons of quilting rulers. They have a new quilt store in St. Charles area, so that was kind of exciting. And I did not see any that I thought were as easy to read as this one. They had a lot of the ones that had all the little yellow lines, and I'm like, okay, I need black lines. But I must be getting old. All right, so with this one, I'm just butting it up to the green, and you can see I made it a little shorter than the green at the bottom. I hope you can see that. And then I'm doing the little bird prints, animal tracks, I'm not sure, over here. And then on page 2, it goes the opposite way. So bird prints in the middle, animal prints over here. I'm getting very close to being out of adhesive on my ATG. It was funny, you know, I think it was Karen or somebody who, yeah, there we go, who was over the other day. I'm just gonna set that aside a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and adhere this. And she's like, show me how to load this thing. I am struggling. So let me show you how to load this thing. Sorry, I got a moose under my feet. All right. So I buy my I buy my refills from Tape Jungle, and I buy them, a whole bunch of them, so that they end up being like $2 a piece or less, $2. And so the first thing you got to do, have a refill, and you got to make sure your refill matches your ATG. Some refills have wide holes and some have these little holes. There is on this side, there's a little tiny lever right here that moves. See that? And it holds that white piece in place. So you just got to move it and lift up on that white piece, and that's garbage. And then on this side, it has arrows that say open. And so you open it. You hold the bottom and just turn the top, and it lifts off. See how it has like notches? And then this is all like the waste side. This is like the peel off part of your adhesive. So that's all garbage now. A lot less waste than if you did like the little runners for everything. But a lot of times the runners are, you know, pretty sticky too. Anyway, so find the lead and pull it off. And it should look like this. It should roll and have it coming off the bottom like this, okay? And give yourself a nice big, you know, 1 foot of lead. And then we're gonna lay this white part in. There is a notch on the side right there. Can you see that little notch? One of your little holes just needs to go on top of that notch. So I'm turning it until it clicks on. It's in place. It won't lift off. It's held in place by that little lever. And then we're going to take our leader roll and we're going to go over, under, and around. Okay? Over the first spool, under the second wheel, and around the whole thing. And then what you end up with is this piece that gets put into this notch. So you tuck it in to the notch. In and out. There's nothing really holding it there. You're just putting it in there and it catches it. And then you just need to put this back on and you're done. So when you put this in, there's little notches and you have to find where they fit and push down and then hold the base wheel and turn it and it's locked. See, I could lift it up. It won't come off. If I turn it and unlock it, it'll lift. Push it, lock. That's it. Ta-da. I know it seems easy when somebody shows you, and it's not always when you're doing it yourself, especially that first time or two. But after you've refilled a couple, it's like, oh yeah, I get it now. Okay, I get it. All right, so now we have our pieces for our photos. And if you look, let's just focus on the left page for a moment. So if you look at that, we have this piece here, and then we have, Moosey. I gotta take these out. I got a couple of fillers in here that I haven't popped out. This will go around. Hold on a second, guys. I have a dog thing happening here. You can probably see me crawling around the floor. I'll probably be missing things because a dog tail hit this. Okay, so we are gonna have this under here. The ring goes here. And we want it pretty high up. And then we're gonna have some chevrons like here and here. And this is how they have it going, like this. And then we have some little fall pieces that you can add, and there's some little punch out cardboard pieces here and a little journaling strip right up here. You see that? Lots of those little like punch out leaves that you can scatter. We'll do that later, but I just want to kind of get this put together. You don't have to watch me adhere everything, right? Okay, let's flip over to this page. Isn't it gorgeous? So this is going to go fairly up close. Now, the way I would gauge this is I would look at my animals and see if I have something weird that's upside down, like this little bear is upside down. I would try to make sure he was covered. So there you go. This goes here. We have this here. And then we have a few little punch out pieces. So we have an arrow, the word stickers, the word autumn, stickers, the words leaves abound from all around. And these are also little stickers from the sticker sheet. And those are little wood pieces. Now, the other thing you can do with these wood pieces that are really kind of cool, like if you don't want to keep them wood grain looking, you can use your ink and blending brush and just put a little bit of color on it. So if you feel like you need a little bit more green or a little bit more yellow or even brown in this corner, you can just shade those a little bit and they do look really, really cool. They end up looking so nice. So there is layout number 1, and I'm going to move to layout number 2. You're probably like, well, you didn't put it all together, but I will. Layout 2, I kind of want to do together because I want to show you the hardest part of it. The easiest part is this part. We're going to have like adhering this, and then this goes, you know, like on the top. Okay, so real quick, we're just going to put this on. Ooh, you know what though? I really like these trees. I'm going to put these trees on. I hope you guys don't care. I'm flipping my paper. I like them better. And this goes approximately 1/4 inch from the edge. So a little bit of that pinky peach is showing through. One thing about the instructions on here is it kind of gives you, gives you a little map to where things go. So this shows, you know, it's 7/8, not quite an inch in and 3/4 from the bottom. So if you want to be super precise, this is where you get out your ruler and you go, you know, what did I say? 3/4 of an inch from the bottom, and you're going to go 7/8 an inch from the side, and, you know, be super precise like this, right? I don't need it to be that precise. I prefer to eyeball most of the time, but that is why the instructions are that way. So that's really cool. All right, and then this will go here. Again, I like the trees, so I'm flipping. Page 2 is just sort of the opposite way, right? And again, leave a little 1/4 inch from the edge. And we're gonna do, I could have flipped it to green. That gives it a whole different layout, doesn't it? Look at that. Your choice. I'm just eyeballing this approximate. Okay. Now, and then the bigger piece goes here. Now see, you could flip it and do the animals. If you were camping or something, wouldn't this be a very cool thing? Because you have the forest animals, the trees. You could flip this to green. It would be a great camping page. Or, you know, outdoorsy page. It wouldn't have to be fall. This doesn't have to be fall either, but I'm just saying it gives a different look to things when you flip the paper over. Okay, so the next thing that's kind of these overlays are gonna be, I was trying to decide which way I want these. I'm gonna go ahead and adhere them so that we can do the overlays. So these are approximately then like 1/4 inch in and about 2 inches up. So again, you can be as precise as you want. And this one is 2 inches from the bottom. And oh no, that's not there. Hold on. I didn't go over far enough. And it is 2 inches from the bottom and 1 1/4 inches over. Okay. All right, so there's just a little bit of overlap onto the pink here and a little bit of overlap onto the pink there. And then we have our overlays. So let me pull these in. The smaller overlay is on this side and it shows it directional from left to right. I guess there's no other way for it to be. I guess if you flipped it, I keep thinking, oh yeah, I guess if you flipped it over, it'd be different. But, and then on this one, same way, just overlapping onto the peach over here. And this one overlaps over to the peach over here. Now, so here's the thing. These little stripes are going to go, you're going to have to like pay attention to where the stripes go. So like this one right here is for this slot. And then there's some green ones. There's one for here. There's one for here. Not sure where this one goes. You just have to kind of look at your plan and, oh, it goes here. It goes here. And then you have a couple of green, one right there. You have a yellow one on this side. And this green, it looks like it gets cut between the top and the bottom. Like you can snip it and make it work. So that is that. And then this little tiny yellow one goes up here. And then there's another little tiny yellow one on this side. up in the corner. So you kind of just look and see. Now the other option, these will fit just about anywhere. You could look and see where your, you know, where your photos are going to cover, and then tuck these in where you want them. Now the thing about this is they need to go on the back, and that is a lot less fun, right? I mean, really. So you can use your adhesive and just put it all over the back. I like to use liquid adhesive for this, and not everybody loves using liquid adhesive, but when you do, what's nice about that is that you can get right in there and then put your piece on like that. And then when you flip it over, see how it shows through? It's just, I don't know, a little easier to me. So this is the part I was thinking, oh, this is so easy, but obviously a little more time consuming. The other thing too is you don't have to use a gobs of glue on the, you know, putting these in place, because you will be putting glue on when you adhere the whole thing down, right? So here's me. And you probably would use less glue than me. And I can't remember exactly where this goes, but it's close. I think it's right around there. Good enough. There. And so you can see the pieces are on the back side. Ta-da! So we're going to do the same thing to this one. Are you sick of watching yet? I'm going to flip it over, figure out where this went, because I can't remember now. I think that one went here. And I'm just going to put a little glue on there. And this one, we'll put there. It doesn't really matter where you put it. As long as, I mean, you could cut this apart and make it fit wherever you want. And remember, they had that one green one that they kind of split. I don't know why they did that. Maybe I'm using the wrong one in the wrong place or something. But they have this one that has like an angle here and an angle here. And I'm just gonna put it wherever. I can't remember where it goes exactly. It kind of goes up here at the top somewhere. Like you can make it, I think I'm just gonna put it here. gosh, I've been on for a while. All right, so now I'm gonna glue this thing down. And I want my stripes. Mine's gonna look a little different because I flipped it. I flipped my yellow. Yeah, I like it. All right, it's gonna. Ta-da! All right. Whew, my goodness. All right. So now we have a, just to look at the extra, there's a journaling strip down here at the bottom and a sticker. And then there's one of the little leaves that'll go right down, tucked right here. 2 more stickers. These are stickers. These are punch out pieces that you're going to put around the page. On the left hand side, this will tuck behind your photo. So, you know, we have our photo mats. I didn't even get them out. But like this will be a 4x6 photo right here. And it'll kind of be turned in, and then this will tuck just a little bit. And there's another little 4-inch one here. So you can put it with the words up, like if you don't have your photos right away, or you can put it words down. I tend to put them, make them all white in case I want to use it for journaling instead. And then you're going to have a couple of leaves down here at the bottom, and there will be a sticker title and a few more stickers up there. So here we have like these little birds that go here, and then the little trees go down here. And we have another tuck piece. Where does that go? I don't even see it. No. But there are some little wood pieces down here. Yeah, it's not even on there that I see. So I would probably just tuck it in next to this photo over here. There'll be flags up there, and there's a couple of 3x3 photos here. Ta-da! Isn't that, this is really very beautiful. This is a very nice layout. Very simple, straight 6x6 cuts. Like, I think this is 3.5, 3 3/4. I don't remember what we did with those, but very basic, and the overlay is a really cool idea. And you know, you could always even use your ink a little bit and sponge a little ink on there. I like the titles. This title is Grateful for This Moment Together. And the first page title was Leaves Abound from All Around. But there's a lot of options. There's In All Things Give Thanks, Enjoying the Last Days of Summer. These are kind of a nice option. All right, let's real quick just dry fit these pages together, and then I can kind of show you what those do. So we have the stripes, one on each side, and this is going to create like a, there's going to be like a 1/4 inch border all around. And then there is a long strip that goes on each side, and a tall trees that go on each side of those. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about this stripe. And I'm not really sure about this crushed curry. Let me just see what it looks with the lighter side. I'm sort of like, I kind of like the lighter side better. It kind of blends a little better. But, you know, you can try it out and see what you think. Each side has this white piece that we cut. One side is bigger. Which side is that? It looks like the second side. I got it right. All right. Just like that. So these have like a little fitted piece. You can see it just nests right into that white. And it gives that white border does give this a little bit of a rest. It's like, that's a lot of pattern. Woo! So that is something to think about. And then this one is here. And then you've got white here, title here, and you have little parts and pieces all over. So this one goes here, this goes here, this goes here. There's a little wood tree that goes on there. There's a title that says Give Thanks. All of these little tiny pieces that we cut will get banner cut, you know, flag cuts, kind of like we did before, and then tucked in. So let me just show you. Those are those little pieces there, and they will get banner cuts. Like that. And then flip the other side, and then these will be up here at the top with the little flag cuts. And we have photos that go in here. Now, they show upside down 3x3, you know, photos in here. It would be very easy to substitute something a little bigger and just make, you could even do 2 4x6s because they're using the journaling pieces right here. Well, it would be very easy to put bigger photos here and then, you know, put your journaling pieces off to the side. So if you're kind of wanting, you know, a couple of 4x6s instead, or maybe you just want to rearrange your photos a little different. Just, you know, futz around till you figure out what you like. And then there's the word grateful that is in the wood cuts. And there are several stickers there. And you can see that little hearts and scattered pieces. And on the left-hand side, that big title will cover, it'll be like right here. Cool. Very nice. And there's even like a little wood, what is the word I'm trying to think of? Like a stump. And if you did this as a camping page or an outdoorsy page, you know, that fits. It doesn't look like overwhelming fall. You could just make this an outdoor page. It's a little feminine with the pink, and the pink and that pink and that crushed curry together is a lot. So I like the lighter side of it. It's just something to think about. And then what's on the other side of this? The animals. So that's what that would look like if you want to get rid of some of the pink. Not bad. Anyway, so there you go. There's the 3 layouts for the scrapbooking workshop. I just have a lot of gluing to do, you guys. I have a lot of gluing. So they usually make these to take about 2 to 3 hours. And you could see if I was gluing everything down and putting every little trinket on, it would definitely take me probably 2.5, 2:15. And then if I had to decisions with photos, it'd be a lot faster. When I have photos ready, I can just boom, 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 and throw it all together. Sometimes, yeah, you know, the camping thing, it really does look like a camping page. And just because it says give thanks, that could be anything. You could do anything there. You could use, like I showed, like one of the white pieces and just make your own title. I like the autumn days. There's autumn days, and there's the grateful. There's the oh blessed day. Give thanks. There, look at that. That would be cute on a camping page, right? The little signs. Lots of little trees. Look at the best life. Oh my gosh. Best life. And you know, like Margie, you know how you do your outdoor concerts? This would be awesome for that, because there's a lot of little fall leaves. Look at the mushrooms. Oh my gosh, look at the mushrooms. Are cute. But there's a lot of little hearts, arrows. Yeah, this one's a good one. I'm pretty happy. And Close to My Heart's kind of working, and Close to My Heart, Stampin' Up is kind of working on trying to make the sticker sheets a little more icon, and a little less words, because you don't really need like hundreds of words. You got a title, you got journaling, and maybe you might use a couple of these. Grateful heart, more than words, give thanks, unforgettable, good times here. You know, you might use a few of these, but not all of them. That's a lot of words. And I noticed on the other ones, I think they just, you know, they were in a hurry to get these created and get them out there to us by September. And I just think, you know, it's a learning curve. They're just having to make a few little tweaks. So, whew, all right, I am done with that. And I hope you like it. And remember, you won't get this sheet unless you buy the workshop. It's not available as a PDF. It's not available online anywhere that I know of. They only are selling the instructions as part of the workshop. That's why I showed it, you know, so close up so that you could screenshot as you watch if you want to recreate. And you know, these are not hard pages to recreate. So the only thing that would be a little trickier would be the overlays. And I don't know, do you need them all? This one is cool. This one's a common one from Close to My Heart. They sent that out before they closed. Okay. First I want to remind you that it's free shipping day. I have to remind you because Stampin' Up's shipping is outrageous. And you're going to see my mug here in a minute. My face is all red. Sorry. You're seeing my ceiling. You're seeing all my room, my stuff around me. Look what time it is. Oh my God, 3:30. But I want to show you what I bought at Daisy Lane. So I'm going to flip my camera around and real quick just show you. Are you sick of watching yet? So, okay. I bought a Brother Scan and Cut, and it came with all this stuff. I haven't even had a chance to open it and see if it works good and all of that. I'm a little overwhelmed this week, but I will, and I'm kind of curious to see if it cuts out, like if I stamp a whole page full of images, if it'll just cut them all out for me. You know, that sounds appealing. I spent a little around $250, and that was 125 of it. So you can see I didn't buy as much, stuff as I normally do. I bought several things like this. This is like one of those coupon style pouches, and I bought the 8.5 by 11 style. I bought 2 of those. These were only like $1 or $2, and at the stores now, look at that, it's brand new. At the stores now, these things are like $6 and $7 some places. That's crazy. So I bought a bunch of office supplies. I bought like packs of pencils for $1, and I don't know, a lot of stuff like that. I love these kind of containers. They have them at Michael's and Walmart, and they open and hold beads and shaker stuff. And I like that you can have so many different shaker materials in a little container like this, and it's all together. I like that. And so that's how I store them, and they had this for $1. This is the Queen and Company toppings, $5 firm for the little round shaker bits. These, I want to say these are $12. I could be wrong. It might be a little cheaper than that, but I'll tell you what, these are expensive with Queen and Company, and so I was really happy to find those. I found this in like the Kid Craft, or the it's Martha Stewart. It was $1. Initially $15. I don't know who would pay $15 for that, but they're little boxes, and see how they open and they hold like a little treat, and then they have like a little lid. I thought that would be adorable as like Christmas ornaments on a tree. Like if you did an Advent and you made these so that they would hang on a tree, and then each day you put in candy or a movie pass or a gift card or a little something in there. I don't know. I just thought that would be a cool thing. And they don't say what size they are, and we aren't really allowed to open them in Daisy Lane. You can get thrown out by opening packages. But anyway, I just thought that was cool for $1. I thought, worth a try. They had a wagon wheel of Scotch mounting tape for $10. This is, 36 yards. So 108-ish inches, right? That is dirt cheap. Oh, there you go. Stephanie, good idea. I haven't even used that scan and cut. I don't even know what all it can do. I downloaded the instruction manual. I haven't even... I haven't even had a chance to take the stickers off of it. Sorry, I'm sitting down. All right, so I'm excited to get this because these are like 20 or 30 bucks, these stupid things. This brand, if you buy the off brand, they're not, like if you buy from Craft Fancy or something, they're like $15 to $18. That's for the same price. So $10, it's not perfect. It's not like the best deal you've ever seen or anything, but it was a deal and I picked it up. They had the red line tape for $2 from Stampin' Up, and I know that's a deal. I bought several of these and gave some away. They had, this is a brand I've never even heard of before, but I thought it was super cute with the little monsters. Look at that. They're so adorable. And I thought I could make something fun with that. Don't know what. This was $15, which is higher than I normally pay for anything stamp-wise at Daisy Lane, but it came with the dies. I know that's a deal. And I have had my eye on this one for a while, and they retired it, and I don't even know if you can still get it other than if you can find a store that sells it or something. But anyway, I've seen lots of very cool cards made with this, and I was excited to get the dies. Yeah, it is Lawn Fawn. Yep, Lawn Fawn. Just a little more than I normally spend is all. This, I had, you know, I like plants, the house plant thing. And I had my eye on this when it's retired now. But $50 for the stamps and dies is crazy. Oh, this one here? Yeah, it does kind of. Yeah, it does. I've never heard of that brand. Craftin' Kimmy. Yeah, I don't know. This came with the dies and the stamps for $10. I'm like, sold. That's great. I would pay easily $5 for each of those. Sold. These little Lawn Fawn bears with the ice skating. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I don't know if I saw this somewhere or if it's just has been in my head ever since I saw this set. But if you stamp this bear front and back and then put them together with a string in the middle, you can twirl it up and put it in a card. And then when the card opens, they spin. You know what I'm talking about? I think I made an ornament that way a couple years ago with the little spinner in the opening. But anyway, that's why I bought it. And $6, and it has all the dies. Even better, they're already cut for me. I hate cutting dies. Lawn Fawn, one of the things I hate about Lawn Fawn is all their dies come attached together like this, and you have to snip them all apart. That's one of my pet peeves. And then they put cuts inside of others, so you can't even like just use it as a sheet. It's annoying. Sorry. It's getting late in the day. Okay, so $3. No. Yeah, $3. Never heard of this brand either. But that Let It Glow. I have some really cool Firefly stamps and a mason jar, and I'm like, I'm gonna use that Let It Glow with that. And then I was like, oh, or Christmas lights, wouldn't that be cool? They have it with, and look at the little lines. I normally draw those around all my lights, or I use ink blending to do that, and I love the idea of stamping that. You sparkle and shine, girlfriend. Shine your light. Merry Christmas. Enjoy every shimmering moment. Look at that. Isn't that fun? Sending love, light, and peace. So, yeah, this was really good just for the messages, if nothing else. And so I thought $3. Creek Bank Creations, their stamps and dies tend to be a little pricey. This was $3, and it had the creepy tombstone, the creepy haunted house, the creepy tree with the cat. And I don't even think they've ever been used. Look at that. So, Halloween, hello. You guys know that I am really into Stamplistic, and these were $8. This one really appealed to me because it looks easy to cut out, which is one of their things that drives me crazy. But look, it has the dies. All of these have the dies. These must have been like these were part of the Cut Above Club, and they come with layering dies. I would have bought them all, Stephanie, but what am I going to do with all of those, right? But look at that. And then this one, I thought I bought 3. Anyway, I really liked this one. I thought it looked like diamonds or a Christmas ornament. And it has all the dies, which is really great. And it has all the ideas in it. Cute. Okay. Some Stampin' Up! Bling. Oh, you can really see the shine on that. It's their like iridescent opal. I bought that for $2. You know they're more. You know they're like $8 online, right? All these different rounds. A lot of the Stampin' Up demonstrators in our area, and there are a lot of them, sell off all of their retired product, and so they're taking a huge loss. And look how beautiful that is. Such a bummer, but good for me. And for those of you receiving my layout this month, you're going to get a couple of some bling in there that's retired that is just gorgeous. I wish I could have, I wish I would have bought more of it. They had more of it. I don't know why I didn't. This is Penny Black, and I fell in love with it. $5. This was marked firm, like, you know, so you couldn't buy it half off if you came back on Sunday. But look at the to-do list. Be present, wrap someone in a hug, send peace. I love Dear Santa, define naughty. It's a long story. Define good. Wouldn't that be fun to make, like, you know, a roll of paper or something with that little girl writing to Santa? Oh, that'd be so cute. I can explain most of it. I've been good all year, most of the time. Once in a while, never mind. I'll just buy my own stuff. I love it. I don't have to be good because I'm cute. I love it. Anyway, I thought those were fun. This is one of my favorite people to buy for, Technique Tuesday. I got this for $2. You aren't normal. I like that. I might love you more than chocolate. Love you even when you annoy me. I would fight zombies for you. I'm so glad we're a thing. You're okay, I guess. Do you love it? I love it. It's so fun. I love the puns. I love the sarcasm. Oh, here's the other one. So this one also has layering dies in there. You can kind of see them layered up in there. I got to store them a different way. But this one reminds me of like rockets or outer space with this point here. And I really think this would be really cool on like a Buzz Lightyear page at Disney or something. I'm just thinking of it in space colors, like, you know. Anyway, that's my thought for that one. I thought for $8. Now they had paper coming out of my ears, okay? They had like 3 boxes of Stampin' Up papers that were retired. The problem was I couldn't see what they were. They were all in packages, so you had to know what they were because you couldn't see. A lot of people, you know, would like cut a corner of the plastic so you could kind of flip through them, but they did not want you opening paper. So Karen found this one for me. This was $5. Echo Park, Happy Days. It's got some really great papers in it, and it's just kind of, you know, retro and fun. And then they had 2 full boxes of Graphic 45, and oh my gosh, so much Graphic 45. But it wasn't cheap. I mean, I paid $12 for this. Cheaper than if you were buying it anywhere online. But this one in particular is retired. It's very hard to find. It is kind of circus themed, and I've been looking for it for a little while. I love all the little papers. And so I decided to just splurge and spend the money because I've been looking for it for a long time. It's a little hard to find. So that's what I bought. I did not go way over the top. I feel like I bought stuff I'll actually use and would be easy to sell and get my money back if I, you know, use it once and don't want to ever use it again. I mean, some of these Stamplistic, this one I'll keep. But the other ones, I don't know. Like, I really think this one would be cool in glitters and sparkly diamonds. It looks like a diamond to me. Like, if it was in golds and silvers and stuff. I don't know. Like, there they show it in blue. It's really pretty. There was a box full of stamp lipstick, and I don't imagine it sold right away because you have to know it to love it. I just don't think that everybody loves stamp lipstick stamps. You got to know what to do with them, and they're fussy, so you got to, you know, it's a thing. Anyway, what do you think? I feel like I got lots of cool stuff. I'm pretty happy with it. I got things that I would buy if I saw them in a store, and I would pay easily double for just about all of it. Not the graphic 45, that would not be double. But you know how much these are, Stephanie, because the layering dies for my Nutcracker were $36, I think, just the dies. So imagine, you know, you buy $20 stamps with $35 dies, you know, you got a $50 stamp set right there. I don't know how much the cut above is every month. Do you? I'm not sure. So I got some ideas. I got some things. And then I think I showed this already, but Karen and I made like a little sampler. I think we're going to make a fall one in a couple weeks when things quiet down for me a little bit. But I think I might redo this in a more formal way, like a more red, green Christmas sort of way. And I may do something like that for people who buy from me during the next, you know, one of the next few months, because I really think that it was really fun to put together. And if I have all the, you know, parts and pieces I can cut, they don't want us sending stamped images, but until the end of the year, they're cool with us using Close to My Heart. And so I could send dies and stamped images that are not all Stampin' Up. Just a thought. So, all right, that's what I have. Any questions for me? I had some questions this morning about Paper Pumpkin, because that 40% off coupon that's good right now is only for new subscribers. Like if you want to buy a Paper Pumpkin kit, you could, if they have you in the history of buying them in the past, I don't think that coupon will work for you. It has to be a newbie, which would be perfect to try it out, right? To try out a kit for 40% off. So if you like the current kit, that's even better. You can just buy one. But I haven't actually used Paper Pumpkin. I've purchased several of the kits. And then, you know, at Daisy Lane, I counted 8 or 9 Paper Pumpkin kits right off the bat. And then when I showed them to Karen later, a lot of them had sold already. So, I mean, it was, you know, it was crowded. But there were quite a few, you know, people were selling them for $5, just trying to get rid of them, because if they're not your taste, they're just boxes that you stick on a shelf. So it's important to pause them if you get a subscription and you don't love the preview of what's coming. Make sure you pause that so you can just stick with the ones you know you'll use. So, all right. I think that's it. I'm going to go gather more photos of my uncle and my aunt. I think I may just take a bunch of photo albums to my uncle's funeral, because I'm the one who has most of the pictures of the whole family. Like, everybody took pictures, but people don't store pictures in a way that they can just get to them really quick. Like when they're trying to, now at the funerals, they do those digital displays, you know, where the photos rotate instead of just having like a board. Remember how a lot of them had photo boards and stuff. Now they do a digital display, and that helps. But our photos are old enough that there's no digital images of them. So yeah, my mom was the record keeper, and now I am the record keeper because I have all my mom's albums, and I'll probably just take those. But anyway, so Friday, my plan is to get on here and show you that layout that I'm mailing out this month, and I think you'll like it. It's Christmas. It's a little early, but I really like it, and it's nice to have something Christmassy done, and it kind of helps me get into the mood of making more things. And then if I don't get to it Friday, which I think I will, but if I don't for some reason, I'll do it Wednesday. So, all right, have a good afternoon, evening. Oh my God, it's 4. I've been on here for 2 hours. Yeah. See you later. Bye-bye.